What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk, back again to chop it up with you, the best fan base in the world. I appreciate your time and support, because we got to take a quick deep dive into the roster construction currently going on with the Detroit Lions as they try to make their way to a 53-man official roster on their way to the regular season that just kicks off in a couple weeks. So, looking at what they're doing right now, we actually have a tracker going on our website right now. I believe my man WG Brady is running it right now. Check us out at DetroitSportsNation.com. You can look at all the moves that have been tallied and made by the Lions thus far. I believe as the roster sits, they're currently at 72 players, but they need to get it down to now, I think, 19 more players. Yep, my math is right. So if we get down to 53 players, the Lions will be set for the regular season roster. I don't at all envy this move in this period that they have to do, because at this time, all the roster decisions are not going to be perfect. There were some good players that they had to let go. There's some guys that they probably believe have a future with this team and in the league, but when you're trying to trim down to 53 players, a lot of those hard calls have to be made, and that's what they're going through right now. Some of the names are pretty surprising. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't shocked by all of them, but some of them kind of stood out to me. Just to kind of go through a few names, the most memorable cuts thus far from the Lions and what they've made. Wide receiver Khalil Pimpleton, a standout receiver from Central Michigan. Unfortunately, was one of the first cuts from the preseason roster. Devin Funchess, the standout from Michigan, who dealt with some injury problems during the preseason, kind of slowed him down and really didn't give him much more momentum after that. So that was kind of an easier cut, I would imagine, for the coaching staff. Jared Davis, the linebacker who's been in and out of the Lions regime. Due to the emergence of a Malcolm Rodriguez, some positive steps by Derek Barnes as well during preseason, I'm not really surprised that Jared Davis didn't make it. You know, he's been in and out, very inconsistent with his play. It doesn't shock me that he wasn't the ones that made it to the last, so that's fine. One of the biggest surprises, well, the last two actually I want to speak on, these are the surprises that really caught my eye. Tom Kennedy, my man, the wide receiver, one of the biggest playmakers throughout the whole preseason for the Lions. The offense has been pretty up and down and inconsistent. He was one of the standout performers really each week that he played. I was pretty surprised to see his name end up on this list. I mean, again, you see how deep and stacked that the Lions are on the receiver core now, but given the opportunities that he was given on this offense, playing with both quarterbacks, with Blau and with Tim Boyle, I was really, really shocked to see his name end up on this list. He was really good with getting in and out of his cuts, making tough catches in traffic, catching the ball with his hands, scoring touchdowns for an offense that wasn't seeing a whole lot of action in the end zone. This was a guy that I was pretty surprised with. I was pleasantly surprised with, but the coaching staff made a call, and, it is what it is. So, fortunately, Tom Kennedy, we appreciate what you did, man, and I'm really rooting for you. I'm really impressed with what I saw from him, and I think he does have a future in the NFL, but we'll see if another team gives him another shot. Now, another highly touted conversation throughout preseason was the backup quarterback battle. We didn't really see much of Jared Goff. He played the first series of the first week of preseason. And after that, it's really just been a battle between David Blau and Tim Boyle. Dan Campbell talked about having an idea of where they would be leaning in towards the quarterback battle. It looks like he made his decision because my man TB12, Tim Boyle, was one of the final cuts as well on the preseason roster. I'm really shocked by this. This is probably more surprising than Tom Kennedy because Blau was playing horrible for the first couple weeks. We saw the fumble. We saw his lack of sync in the second game. It was that one touchdown that really saved him that he threw to Tom Kennedy at the end of the first half when they decided to go for it on fourth down. That saved his whole tenure, I guess, at this point, because Boyle was playing really good the first couple weeks. He was really in sync. He was, finding comfort behind the offensive line, swinging it out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, finding to Benson. He was finding a lot of guys that were getting productive plays and looks throughout the offense. And then on the third week, when Blau was really behind the eight ball in the competition after the mistakes he was making, this was an opportunity for Tim Boyle, who opened up week 3 against the Steelers by playing with the number ones. Hockenson was on the field. We saw Amon-Ra St. Brown. Shark was on the field. The first team rep with the offensive line was on the field. Pretty much everybody except the running back core. And Boyle looked terrible. He could not get a rhythm. I think he was 5 of 15 through his time in the first half. And then Blau came out and started making plays. Tim Boyle threw a pick. It really was shocking, man. I did not expect to see this at all. Now, again, I'm not sitting here thinking that he was going to be Peyton Manning and light anything up. But to see the regression and to see him kind of be jittery and really just lose his sync against his defense. Now, granted, Steelers are a good defense, but I still was expecting a lot better play from him given the circumstances. And all that alone, and then the moves and the plays that David Blau made in that same game, I guess made the call for Dan Campbell himself. I mean, again, these guys are not going to make or break this roster. And again, I don't envy Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell for having to make these calls. A lot of these are not going to be perfect. These are the guys that they feel are best fitted somewhere else. They're not fitted on this roster for the future. Or maybe they'll come back, who knows, maybe at an injury. Sometimes these things happen where they're cut and they're possibly brought back when a player gets hurt. So if you have that stand-in and that depth and that reputation for the team, maybe you're brought back on an opportunity. But for now, a lot of tough calls are going to be made. I don't envy it, but I trust that they're going to do the right thing and make what's best for this roster. But talk to me down below. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think as the Lions trim their way to the 53-man roster. What do you think about the roster moves that have been made so far? And who do you think is next? Or maybe there's some people that you thought should have been still be on the roster. Let me know what you think. Talk to me down below. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel as well. Super free and a super easy way to show support to the channel to make sure we can keep bringing this content your way. And of course, be sure to stay locked in on our website, DetroitSportsNation.com, where we have the tracker going, keeping you locked and keeping you informed on all the roster moves and cuts that are happening live in action here with DSN. Our socials are wide open as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Search and find us, lock in with Detroit Sports Nation. And you can follow me as well at I am Eric Vincent. I'll be back to chop it up with you again soon, right here on the DSN News Desk. Peace.